Keltische Musik von A bis Z. Schottenradio gehört zu mir.
Hi there, my name is Tom Landa.
And I'm Jeffrey Kelly.
And we are from The Paperboys. And you're watching SCHOTTENTV.
Welcome again to another edition of SCHOTTENTV, and I'm not alone now. I have a fantastic band from Canada. I talk about the Paperboys. How are you doing, guys?
Hello,
We're
how are
doing
you?
well, Basil. How are you?
It's a pleasure to have you, so I'm very well. Good. Hopefully your journey was great so far.
It's been great, yeah. We've had a really nice tour.
Yeah, and you brought actually lovely weather to us.
We have.
Let's talk about the band. When did you start the band and for what reason?
The band was first formed around 1993, 94. For what reason? God. I had moved from central part of Canada to the west coast with the idea of forming a band. I was just fresh out of high school. I just finished high school and I moved to Vancouver because I liked the music scene that was emerging in Vancouver at the time. There were a lot of bands that I really liked and looked up to. So I thought that would be, I had really two options, go to Toronto or Vancouver. And I thought Vancouver was better weather and I really liked the music scene there. Yeah. And so yeah, I moved there with that reason, and for what? Because I love music and I wanted to write music and create music, and that's kind of why we started the band.
Why did you name your band Paperboys?
I don't think it's what I would name the band now, but at the time I just thought it was something. You know, it was at the time of grunge, so Nirvana, Soundgarden, all these bands were out there that it was really kind of aggressive, and you know, us being folk and Celtic and bluegrass kind of stuff. Yeah. I wanted a name that sort of maybe captured that, or that you wouldn't look at the name and think, well, those guys play grunge or they play metal, and I don't know, it was just really a name. But it did happen that the first incarnation of the band, the first members of the band, were all Paperboys growing up.
Oh, so really?
It was fitting in that sense. Yeah.
Well, that's a good reason, isn't it?
These days it has to do more with the, I don't know about in Germany, but when someone's an alcoholic and you take the paper bag and you put your bottle and then you drink it in the park, that's more the Paperboys we are today.
Okay. Yeah, that's the reason we have still a beer here, no?
Yay! Prost!
Prost!
Well, let's talk about your unique sound. Paperboys, Lost Paperboys. It's a strange mix, isn't it? Explain the sound. Why do you mix actually Celtic stuff and Mexican, South American stuff? Yeah.
I think it comes from our backgrounds. I was born in Scotland, lived there till I was 9, then we immigrated to Canada, and so I had that in my background. Tom was born in Mexico, and he lived there till he was 14, and so our roots are back in those two countries, and it just seemed eventually that was going to come out in the music. And I think the longer the band's been together and that we've played together, it's become more evident that that's the unique identity of the band. There's so many bands that play wonderful sets of jigs and reels and great trad, Scottish or Irish music, and we found our own little niches by blending some of the styles together and giving us a different identity, a different sound.
Yeah. What do you try to transfer to the audience while you're on stage?
Well, I mean, it really depends on the venue and the situation. If it's a theater, you know, we'll play our usual stuff, but we might tailor that particular concert more to maybe a couple more ballads than usual. It's because they're listening more, as opposed to say you're playing a big Irish party like we did last Friday, and that was 800 people they really wanted to dance and
clapping along.
Exactly. So for that we would play more energetic stuff. But our live show is a combination of what you're talking about, the Celtic stuff, so the Irish and the Mexican and Latin kind of stuff. We'll play some ska, we'll play a bit of reggae, we'll play some kind of world music. And
yeah, maybe that's the reason you are such successful.
Some success, I think.
Well, we should watch a video, of course. Paperboys live on stage. That's really very, very cool. And so watch this video and we will be back in a wee while. That was really cool, absolutely great stuff. Paperboys live on stage. Well, let's talk about your latest album. Do you have a favorite song on it, and how is it to be a songwriter, and what do you try to tell us with all your great music?
Favorite song? I think for me on this one, Better Than the Last might be a favorite.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I think Nunca Jamás for you, maybe?
Yeah, that's probably those two. We'll probably play both of them.
Yeah. And what are we trying to convey as songwriters? Is that what you're asking? Songs could be about many different things. We've written songs about dreams on a past tour. The first few days when you're getting over jet lag, you're very confused the first few days of the tour. And Jeffrey kept on having these weird dreams. And right now the tour is pretty young, so I've also been having weird dreams. And so we wrote a song called Water Dreams about that. The one that I was saying, Better Than Last, is about having a really shitty year.
Okay.
And looking forward to the new year coming so that you can have a fresh start and put the bad year behind you.
Yeah.
There's songs about relationships. There's songs about God, what else do we try to convey?
There's songs about how our city is changing
Yeah.
and how, big corporations are slowly
Yeah.
taking away some of the independent businesses and buildings and City of Change, that's called. It's a real mixture. I think each song is individual and there's no certain approach to it. Just as an album, it's not a concept record, it's just a collection of songs.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this time around anyhow.
So you just tell stories of your own life.
More or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they can be completely fictional, but I think quite often we try to take something that's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot of upper time songs on it, but fantastic ballads as well. What do you prefer? More of the ballad stuff, or?
No, not really. I mean, rocking out is pretty fun. I suppose in the right scenario, like a quiet environment, like a theater or something like that, singing a ballad with nice little reverb in the hall. Like as a singer, that's very gratifying. Just like I'm sure playing a slow air is the same thing. But there's moments when you're really playing and it's quite lively and upbeat, and you're getting a lot of energy from the crowd. So the band is putting out the energy, the crowd's putting it back, and it's back and forth, and that can be quite gratifying.
Would you say you're a typical folk band?
I think we're kind of unusual in what we do. Great bands like Lunasa or the Tannehill Weavers, they are very much, Lunasa, an Irish band. They play all instrumental music for the most part. And the Tannehill Weavers are definitely a Scottish band, and they don't stray too much beyond those areas. And I think we are all over the place. Just like the city of Vancouver, there's a lot of immigration there, a real melting pot of cultures, and I think that finds its way into our music, and it's not as one-dimensional in that way. And that's not a bad thing, but we just our music is somebody in Switzerland described it as muesli.
Okay.
There's just so many little things in the music. I think it's kind of true.
It's quite often described in Germany as multikulti.
Multicultural, it's a good word to use. How's the music scene in Vancouver? Is there a Celtic music scene actually?
Sure.
Yeah?
There's a very vibrant Celtic music scene on the West Coast, both Vancouver and Victoria. I would say Victoria even more so.
Yeah.
But no, Vancouver, we have a Celtic festival that happens there. We have a lot of Celtic concerts. A lot of bands come and tour through there. But there's a lot of local musicians in Vancouver that play Celtic music, and right from very traditional kind of Dubliners type stuff to bands that experiment and push the boundaries a little bit, like ourselves or Spirit of the West or other bands based in Vancouver.
Well, people who comes to your concerts, I'm pretty much sure they know what you do. That's the reason they come to you. But when you are, I don't know, live on radio or TV, some people are not totally surprised when you start to mix your Mexican stuff with your Celtic stuff, because they do not expect that.
Right.
Yeah.
It does. I think especially the Mexico connection really interests people, and they kind of, quite often people will go, "So you're from Mexico?" As if it's so foreign to them and so exotic. It's like, really? And I think they're surprised that we play Celtic music, being that I'm from Mexico. But I'm from Mexico. Calissa, my wife, and plays the fiddle. She's of Chilean background, so Latin background as well. Sam grew up in California, which is very Mexican influenced, and speaks Spanish. And
Spent a lot of time in Brazil.
Yeah, he's a Latin percussionist, so he learned Portuguese and learned Brazilian drumming and spent time in Brazil, and so I think, as Jeffrey said earlier, we really are a product of our environment, which is Canada and the States, multicultural nations, and as Jeffrey mentioned earlier, I think we knew earlier on that we weren't going to be a traditional band. We weren't trying to be Lunasa or the Tannehill Weavers, but we really respect what they do.
We love them.
And we love them. So we take a little bit of that, but we also like, very eclectic, diverse music taste within our band.
Yeah.
So we could be listening in the van, for example. We could be listening. Well, you were listening to some weird stuff today.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, sometimes bluegrass. We put some bluegrass on, or we're fans of pop music. I know you like Scotland, but I love Delamitri, Scottish band from called Delamitri. They're fabulous. One of my favorite pop bands, and so we really our musical tastes are as diverse as our heritage and where we come from.
Where can I buy your CD? On your website, probably? Yes.
Yeah, so you can find us on iTunes, although the new one is exclusively through our website. We have a partnership with Bandcamp.com.
Okay.
So BAND Camp, CAMP, bandcamp.com. The advantage of buying a record there is it's really no different from iTunes. You get it right away, and then you just transfer it from the download folder to your iTunes library. Or you can also buy the physical copy. But the main thing is that we see the proceeds right away. Through PayPal. We get paid as soon as the record is sold.
Yeah.
When you sell through other companies, it takes a while, and they take a bigger cut. Bandcamp's cut is very little, so it's very advantageous to musicians.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you just go to paperboys.com, there will be a link to the Bandcamp website, or in Deutsch, paperboys.de.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the meanwhile, we watch the next video. You can maybe check out the original website. Just read it here, and then we come back very, very soon.
This is a tune that fuses our love for Mexican music and Irish music, and it's a piece we wrote in Germany, and it's a tune called El Baile del Puma.
here on Schotten TV, and I'm totally sure you loved the video, because I did, and hopefully you too.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about all the members of your band. You know, our studio is too small for all the members of the band. Tell us a bit about the instruments.
Well, there are 6 members currently on this tour, and our bass player is from Seattle, and his name is Bennett Pullen, and he's done a little bit of work with us in the last year or two.
Yeah.
Wonderful player, and so we're really fortunate to have him. It's his first time touring with us in Germany. And our drummer is also from Seattle, Mr. Sam Essexion, and he plays cajon and all kinds of Latin percussion, as Tom mentioned earlier. And Tom's wife, Calissa Landa, is our fiddle player and harmony singer. And Kyle Boots, he's got a good German name. He's from St. Louis, and he plays banjo and trombone, although today just banjo. And I'm Jeffrey Kelly, and I live in Vancouver, and I play flutes and whistles. And Tom also lives in Vancouver, and he plays guitars and a wonderful Mexican guitar called a jarana.
Yeah, the small one.
Yeah.
Like a great sound.
Yeah, it's a great
Thank
sound.
you.
And he sings. He's our
Yeah.
lead singer.
Of course, yeah.
So that's kind of the current.
Yeah. Do you think there's a difference between probably the audience in Germany and, I don't know, Mexican crowd or the guys in Canada? Is there a difference between the
Yes.
guys? Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Can you explain the difference?
You know, I think. I mean, I don't know because I'm not German, nor I would say
Yeah.
I know their psyche. However, I will say that from our perspective, I think they enjoy the show differently. So, for example, in North America and in Canada, the States where we play a lot, when they're watching, even if it's a theater, like they're dancing and they're tapping their toes, and I can physically see that they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Here, it's maybe not as much. Like, I'm not saying they're reserved, but it's just more. It's hard. I don't know. I don't want to come across as insulting, but it does seem more reserved.
Yeah.
But they really enjoy it. That's
Yeah.
not to say that they don't enjoy it. And then they really show more their physical appreciation towards the end of the show, and they really clap hard and zugabe, you know. And so I think that you don't notice it till more towards the end of the show with German crowds. In the first few shows I did, I thought, oh God, they don't like it. But it's just a different way of appreciating music. So I think.
Of course, yeah.
It is a different difference from that to say crowds in Canada and the States.
One thing I will say for the German audience is we've played gigs where we've never been to the town before, and 150 people will show up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often in where we come from. People need to kind of know the music. Here, people have faith in whoever's booking the concert. They trust them to bring in good music, and they come. And like we had a wonderful gig in Haingen the other night, about 50 kilometers from Reutlingen, and
We've
we've
never
played there.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe 10 people there knew us, but the other 140 never heard of us. And
Good stuff,
they were
yeah.
so that is one lovely thing about coming to Germany. People are confident in their promoters, and they come out, and so we really appreciate that.
Well,
And they're very good listeners.
Yeah,
you know.
they
You can
are.
be even in a club setting, like a bar setting, and they will listen. Like they'll be, you know, having a little more fun during the fast songs. But if it's a slow song, they quiet down and they listen, and that's from.
Yeah.
It's a very nice. We appreciate that a lot.
And they're very forgiving about our lack of German.
yes.
They really are, which is nice.
well, why do you think folk music is worldwide such successful?
I think it's in the word, which is folk,
Folk.
people. So it's
Yeah.
really, you know, if you really, folk music is, every country has its different folk music. So
Right.
obviously it was telling a story about the people. And I think it connects people. And I think that's why folk music is successful.
And it survives all the trends, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
It just runs through all the trends. Like, you know, we've been through grunge and hip hop,
Yeah.
and some stuff comes and goes, and folk music just stays there. It's just always.
And every once in a while there's a folk success, you know, like Mumford and Sons,
Yeah.
who are really, you know, they're a band like us that had a song that really resonated with people, and they became huge on the charts. And that's, you know, 1 point for folk music. It's great to have it on the charts. But as Jeffrey said, folk music is something that has always been there, will always be there. And it's also the kind of music where you can have a career in your 70s and 80s.
Indeed, yeah.
And it doesn't matter. And where if you're a pop star in your 70s and 80s, they're like, you know, people are not as forgiving. In
After
folk music.
25, you're a granny, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's really true. Well, as a Scot, how do you see the situation with folk music worldwide? What does it mean to be a Scotsman, you know?
Well, I think there have been some amazing pioneers. You know, living in Vancouver is certainly a bonus of being in a very big city.
Yeah.
And we had people like Doogie McLean and the Tannahill Weavers
Yeah.
and Silly Wizard bring that music to our doorstep, really. They were doing what and they're still doing it. Maybe not Silly Wizard, but the Tannies are still going as far as I know. And
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, they stayed at my house a couple of times when they first came, you know. 'Cause, all those bands, same with the Irish bands like Lunasa and people like that, they just keep bringing the music, the Irish music, to all over the world and turning people onto it. And it may be very grassroots, but it's that kind of audience is very loyal and very faithful. And I think those bands will have a career for as long as they want to do it, because they've done it from the ground up.
Yeah.
With very little help from radio, and you know, people like yourselves are so important to get a little bit of press here and there, because as I think Tom mentioned, unless you're a Mumford and Sons and happen to write a song that gets on the radio, we rely on small radio stations and people coming to live shows, people like yourself.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, that's totally right. And of course, our audience wanted to see you again on stage, so we should watch another video.
Sure.
Because to talk about music is really cool, but to watch music and great musicians like the Paperboys, of course, that's a pleasure. And so watch this one, you will love it, that's for sure. It's a promise from me to you.
This is a song called "The City of Chains," which is a song about our hometown of Vancouver.
welcome back to SCHOTTENTV. My name is Tom Landa. I'm with the Paperboys and want to welcome you back to the show. And also let you know one more time about our website, which is paperboys.com. So come visit us there or find us on Facebook or Twitter. And if we don't see you online, we hope to see you down the road somewhere.
And this is our new record, At Peace with One's Ghost.
Fantastic. So just download the album or buy a physical copy on the website. You can see the website right here. It's a kind of magic. And then you can visit the guys online as well. And you can watch, of course, SCHOTTENTV again and again and again. Just use our media archive, and that's anytime possible. And well, before we watch the last video, what can I say? It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Basil.
So thanks a lot.
Thank
for
you.
the pleasure. And hopefully to see you very, very soon again.
All right.
That's good.
Thank you.
Bye, Germany.
So, well, another video. That was another edition of SCHOTTENTV. And that was, of course, the Paperboys special, Lost Paperboys. That's the band who do mix a Guinness and a tequila, you know, and that works. I think that works well. And thanks for watching this program, and see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
It's a song from our new record called Better Than Last. 1, 2, 3, 1.
Another candle passes by, leaves me unclear what the future will hold, or what's in store. I don't think I can take it no more. When I've had my fair share of bad news I cannot bear, rainy days that don't end, I can't fake or pretend. These things I can't amend. As we raise our glass into the midnight fireworks blast, leave our troubles in the past, hoping this year's better than the last, hoping this year's better than the last. Pretty lights and frost remind me of what I have lost. Know the things that will last not on track. You can't get from red to black. Another Christmas season's done, and I hope yours was a good one. If you got some love to lend, I could use it, my friend, for now on this year to end. So as we raise our glass into the midnight fireworks blast, leave our troubles in the past, hoping this year's better than the last, hoping this year's better than the last. midnight fireworks blast. Leave my troubles in the past, hoping this year's better than the last. Hoping this year's better than the last. Hoping this year's better than the last.